Hi, good morning. Thanks so much for joining me in my shop here. It's November 6th today, and it's time to sort out the mystery capacitor. It seems to me just about every radio I take on has some kind of mystery built into it. I seem to be pretty good at scouting them out anyway. So in this one, it's a capacitor, a little capacitor, small value capacitor in here for reasons unknown. There he is, right there. So first thing I'm going to do is sort out where this is on the schematic exactly, and see if we can't figure out a reason for it being there. Very good, and I don't think it's too complicated to sort out either. In fact, I pretty much did it yesterday. It's on pin 4 of the first IF, and the other lead goes to a terminal. It has a black wire which comes to this terminal. This terminal let's go back over to this one. So off of this one is a resistor. I think that's it. Sometimes I find you have to look so very carefully at these things to sort them out. So as a wire comes up here, so I'm checking to be sure it's not connected to the B minus. It appears to be the case. I thought this was a B minus point yesterday. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it onto a paper schematic here. We can look at it once I figure out where it goes. Okay, after spending 25 minutes missing a little piece of wire and then getting quite confused, I managed to find the piece of wire, sort myself out. This is the position of that little capacitor. So it's connected between pin 4 here of the transformer and the B minus. So pin 4 here is connected to the AVC system, if I can call it that. It's on the far side of this large resistor, which is connected to the detector. So the AVC voltage is coming in here, and I've colored this red everywhere it goes. This guy is basically connected between the AVC bus, if I can call it that, and B minus, which is the same as this capacitor. This being one 10 times the size of this. So the two of them are in parallel, but physically they're located in quite different locations. So in terms of ADC, adding another 1/10 onto here won't make any appreciable difference. And this is just controlling the AVC speed. Anyway, this is not controlling the AVC level, just the speed, the attack, and how quickly it rolls off. So unless this has some effect of getting rid of some RF or something way back at this point in the radio, physically it's in a different, it's way over here, whereas C3 is right here. Oh, they're not that far apart physically. What I'm daydreaming is there's some problem with, well, there's nothing here. Well, I shouldn't say that. You want this point to be drained to B minus, and it certainly is through here, but there's a bit of a wire, at least on the schematic you see the wire here. In the radio, the situation is a little bit similar. There's some wire involved. I don't know what it's doing there. I really don't know what it's doing there, unless somehow this assists with, well, is it offsetting the resonance of this transformer somehow? That this transformer wouldn't, you couldn't tune it to resonance. You stuck this little capacitor here and somehow now you can. I think my next step is leave the capacitor as it is. I don't know that there's anything wrong with it. Leave it as it is. Do the alignment on the radio. And then we remove it and reinstall it and do stuff with it. Try to figure out what it's there for. But I think the next step is to do an alignment with it in place. Okay, gotta get myself ready for that, which means go take a break and drink some coffee. Okay, so I've been reading up on the alignment procedure and getting myself ready for all that. I got my signal generator running, and then I say, hey, where do you set the pointer? Oh, there's no pointer. There's no string. Hold it. I have to deal with the lack of a string here. Okay, turn off the signal generator. You know what? I'm going to need more coffee. I need more mental sustenance. I can take this out of here. Don't need that. Better unplug it. Instead of examining the alignment instructions, I should be examining the stringing diagram. That's what I should be doing. Oh boy, stringing a radio. Yeah, looks like fun. Right. Just before I go for some pre-stringing R&R, the fellow who last owned this radio, who gave it to me, called me up and said, I need a tube for a radio and the string is broken. Can you supply some string? Yeah, I can do that. He lives here in the same town I'm in. Fine, he comes over and I ask him a couple questions. I think, oh, this is a 5-tube radio. How does he know one tube is dead? Well, one of the 5 tubes didn't light up. Okay, that's not particularly possible, but I sold him the tube and he wanted some string. How much string do you want? He goes, well, I don't know, 2 feet should be enough. And I said, have you ever put a string on a radio? No. So I started telling him about what kind of a challenge this simple sounding thing probably is. And he concluded, okay, yeah, 2 feet should be enough. So here's the 2 feet of string. He just put the tube in, the radio still didn't work. He gave me the radio, and I gave him back his money for the tube. And he gave me back the string. This is 24 inches of string right here. I said something about I never cut the string until the last minute. I'm working on these. Here's the Dow cord diagram. Overall length of string 33 inches, not 24. So this is way too short. So that poor guy, was he ever headed for disaster? So maybe it was a good thing he gave me this radio. And now I think when I'm done, this radio will be nice enough to offer back to the Aurelia Curling Club. They may be interested in it from like a historical point of view. Okay, gonna rest up here. Okay, so if you've never put a string on a radio before and this is the first time you've watched somebody do it, and just maybe you have a radio that needs a string, all I can say is take your time. Don't expect it to work out the first time you do it. Make some key observations, which is what I'm doing right at the start. So I'm looking at how the string is terminated. Looks like both ends of the string are attached to the spring here. We follow the string very carefully. It comes out. Goes all the way out here. This is about as simple as they get, actually. It comes back. Comes around the station selector knob. Goes once. And that's all. And then we come up the other side and then back in. It's very, very straightforward. Put the string on first, don't worry about the pointer. Now, that looks nice out here in the air, but when you look at it in the radio, it's not out in the air. It's being fed through the chassis a little bit, I think. So it's coming over top of this pulley, back long. It's going around this twice. And the diagram, this piece is here, yep. Good starting point. You put the string in. They show it with the spring attaching here. The spring coming across, string coming out. Looking down at the diagram, it comes across, goes over the pulley, comes back, goes around. This is out in the open. Goes around. Down, heads around here, comes back. That's pretty straightforward. In fact, that's really very, this is about as simple as they get. Okay. Maybe I'll be spared. So the first thing we want to do is just steady up the string down in this area somewhere. I'm going to tie a loop in the end of it. This is probably about the 25th radio I've done, maybe more, doing strings. I have to tell you, the first few just about ended my life. That's the truth of it. Yeah, I'm one of those people who likes to get it done, get it done. It's hard for me to slow down. There we are. Now we can temporarily hook this, maybe. I can hook it down here temporarily. Just to give it some stability. So first it comes out. Goes like this. So I'm going to try to get a rough measurement. Comes around here. I'm not cutting it till I need to. Now does it goes over the bottom of this pointer. Yep, and it shows it wound around the back. That's a little tricky. So I do it like this, it's wound around the front. They want it wound around the back. So I have a special tool that I reserve for this work. I call it my pusher puller. That's the puller end, and that's the pusher end. I find this tool very helpful to me. Oops. Come on. Okay. Wrapped around the back. Now it's supposed to go back over this way. Down. And around. Boop, 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 boop. Here. Now these lengths are all wrong here, but I've got a good idea of the length of the string. So I think if I cut it right here, I'm trying my best not to waste any of my string. Conservation. Now, if I cut this just a millimeter too short, I'll be crying. But this is quite a bit too long here. Now, what do you do now? Okay, don't worry about it for a moment. I'm going to get the length right for where to tie the second loop. So this time we're going to do it with the spring. I'll try to use the original spring. Fairly short spring. It's bent so one piece can hook into the radio here. It's got, looks like 3 possible places to hook. Go in the middle. Whoops, there it goes. We'll go in the middle. Let's put it on the string. Hopefully that knot won't come out. I don't think it will. This. So I have an old book you can get off the internet. I'm pretty sure you can get it on the internet. A stringing guide, and it's a general stringing guide. Contains stringing information for many old radios. But in the front of the book, it gives an engineer's description of radio strings and the issues with them. And it's pages long. Pages of little things to think about when it comes to a string in a radio. You wouldn't imagine so? Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've got this in. Try to hold it here. And grab my marker. I can't hold it. Okay, get a marker. The string is not stretched at all. There's not much tension in here. So we want to add tension. We're going to want this knot to be, the end of the loop to be here. That's how it seems. He says, expressing some doubt. Okay, we'll put it like that. Here. There you go. Okay, bring this around. Now, how do we get this on the spring? So take the spring off first. Get a little more light. Yeah, that's a little more. Okay. Pull the spring off. Why did that travel so far suddenly? Okay, let go of it. Hook it on the string here. String to slip a little bit. Okay. I have to grab the springy end of the spring. There we are. See? You turn this and the whole thing moves. Turn it the right way, Jim. You're at one end of the run. What's happening there? Something's getting caught. So when you turn these knobs, especially when you're picking a radio up at, maybe you're buying it from somebody or a yard sale or who knows where, and you should really turn the knob all the way left and right. If partway through it feels kind of a little bit springy or funny like that, is it really just partway through? No, I'm all the way to the end. What I was going to say was the string is doubling over itself here. How come you won't go back? Not enough tension. So I think I might be able to hook it over here. Well, let's not jump to conclusions just yet. There. Just first time through, the string can be overlapped a little bit. It's doing it right in here. So there's kind of like a settling in kind of thing going on. Just doesn't get enough tension. The spring is barely stretched. Let's see if we can get it up in here. That's a lot more tension. What happened? My knot gave out. Ah. You know, when I tied that first knot, that looks just a little odd. That's more than a little odd. Okay, can we? Yeah, this is where it all ends here. Oh, see, the knot's fine. The knot is still there. Oh my gosh. Luckily it's not tied tight. The clicking you're hearing is my furnace ducts expanding. My furnace just came on. It's about 2 degrees outside, which is normal for this time of year here. It's going to be a little unusually warm today, up around 12. So better look just pushing it through. Yeah, so can be a real challenge to a person's patience. Mine, that's for sure. As I say, the first few of these I did, I just about went nuts. They were much more difficult radios, and this is a fairly easy one here. Which is why I'm staying cool, because I know it's not going to be too tough, aside from the situation in front of me right now. But other radios, especially European models, yay. There we go. Okay, got the knot out. Now I have to set up for measurement of the distance again. I guess maybe that knot was slipping. I never did pull any tension. That's why the spring ended up completely collapsed or shrunk. Because, okay, now here's a little hint for you. The string has come off the pulley over here. That's fine. I'm going to leave it off. When I put it on, it'll just pull a little more tension into the system. Assuming I'm not tying it too tight to begin with. Come on, there we go. There we are. Looks to me I can put it right here. That's going to give me a fairly good stretch. Okay, let's do that. Spring on here. Yeah, another thing about this work is you only have 2 hands, but it often requires 4 hands. And I think if you had another person in here helping, it wouldn't be long before they'd be screaming and yelling going on. This is definitely a solitary task. Okay, now I want to slip the string further this way. Good. Okay, hold that there. Remember, it's still off the little pulley on the right. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Get a good grip on it here. First hole. First hole may be fine. Okay, let's put it back on out here. This is where we're really going to pull some tension. There we go. That is plenty tense. Let's just get a little help here. And it's going both ways this time. Excellent. There we go. Now we just have to put the pointer on. So I believe that's the pointer start mark. So there's the dial pointer. No reference to a start mark. Why else would that be there? Now the pointer. The pointer is supposed to run along like this. Okay. And the string is just kind of thread through it. Yeah, maybe I should have put it on sooner. I think this qualifies as very awkward. Side on. So I've done it absolutely backwards to how they meant it to be. Yeah, doing this with all this tension here. Okay, so we're going to dismount it here. Back. Okay, get some cheap slack. Don't go too slack. How come so slack? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, around the back. I guess I'm muttering. This. Pull it right like that. Okay. Now we got to get it onto the sliding area. That's pretty crummy. So I mean it looks pretty beat up here. So I think what's happened is it's been bent downwards, upwards and downwards. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's a one-way tuner. That's the end of the road right there. So the pointer should be down yonder. Now, in order to slide it on the string, the easiest way, and this is counterintuitive until you think about it, is to, the tendency, what you want to do, you tend to want to hold the string here and then push it this way. But in fact, that'll cause a tension in the string here, and it'll grip even harder and harder. What you do, counterintuitively, hold the string the other way. Okay, so I'm going to freeze it here. And now I can push the pointer fairly easily because it builds slack in the string right where you need it. There we are. I want to send it down to the other end. The string is just doubled over on here. Uh-oh, did I get it wrong? I don't think so. There. No, don't double over now. I doubled it over again. Okay, here we go. So the string walks back and forth on the piece here. That's why it's so wide in here, to allow the string to travel back and forth. But at first, you may not have it set in a good way. Okay, with the pointer down here, I can put this back on this guy. It's amazing I didn't break it. that's a pretty tight string. That's really very tight. Okay, we're going to travel it down here. See how far it gets. I think it should be out a little further. So we're going to help it get out there. Okay, checking the capacitor here. It's closed tight. Just a wee bit off the mark. Okay, holding the string upstream from where I'm going to push them. Just a little wee bit. Okay, let's go for a travel check. Right up onto the shoulder here, but I think it's okay. Back this way. Okay, now we're going to help the whole thing out by lubricating a few things. First one is this knob. If you look inside the radio, you see how far in it comes, and that's to give it some stability. So, but in here, you need to put a little bit of oil just in there. A little bit of oil. Okay. What do we got? We got this guy here. I'm just oiling it right at the back. Not much oil. Don't want to try to put oil in here, going to get it on the string. Okay, that can make a dramatic difference in the way the radio feels, especially if you... Hey, what happened? Okay, let's just continue with what I'm doing. Try to loosen up the capacitor too a little bit. A couple of things in here that could stand a little wee bit of oil. I'm going to use the WD here for this. Try not to spray much. Here. So the surprising thing about these capacitors is that the rotating part is the part that's grounded to the chassis. The stationary or stator part is the part that is insulated from the chassis. So well, how does this rotating part get grounded? It gets grounded through those areas I was spraying. Come on, you can do it. This feels just unbelievably tight here. Something is really resisting, and it's because I got the string on so well. Good for you, Jim. I see over here a knot is hung up on this curve. That may be somehow, well, it's not allowing the spring to come back further. In other words, the tension is being caught here. That's probably causing it to be over tensed. I can pull the knot a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. It's a one-way deal. Yeah, this just feels unbelievable. This is really bad. So something more is happening. I don't think it's a knob because you can turn the knob easy. Is it that far pulley? So I'm going to put some oil there, but I'm going to use this oil delivery thing here. Make sure I don't get it on the string. Oh, we're right on the string. Darn it. The problem with using this thing is you can't tell how much oil has come out of it. That's the problem there. Now we have oil on the string. Nothing's turning anywhere. We're at a limit. Am I crazy? This knob's going the wrong way? No, I don't. Is it? What? Is that right? No, it's going the right way. Oh, that seemed to get things going. A little bit of oil on that pulley, I guess because the string is so very tight. If you, on some radios, you put the string on too tight, it'll put a force on this wheel, which will cause it to tip a little bit, twist a little bit. These things sometimes are kind of mounted on rubbery mounts, and the whole thing can twist, and the angle will be enough to cause the string to dismount. This one won't have that problem. Well, that's great. That's working great now. So that's what it was. It just you can't get this kind of thing to overcome a lot of back friction. Very good. We'll check the starting point. Okay, it's off just a little wee bit. Not much. There it is. And now, for my award, I get to go and drink some coffee. Very good.